And a very pleasant good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Tornado Talk, where we talk all things Brevard College Tornado Athletics. Have an exciting show for you once again this evening. We're going to be talking a bunch of hoops. We're going to be catching up with the cheerleading squad here at Brevard College, and we'll also check in with faculty athletics representative Dr. Joshua Wilkey. But before we get going, want to thank our sponsors of Brevard College Tornado Athletics. Really appreciate their support of the Tornadoes: Arby's, BSN Sports, eGolf Ford of Brevard, Hampton Inn, Ingles, Jets Pizza, Party Sports Medicine, Pepsi, Sully Steamers, Triangle Stop, and Young Transportation. Appreciate their support of Brevard College Tornado Athletics, and do want to recognize such an important partner for us here at Brevard College: Party Sports Medicine and Southeastern Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the official healthcare provider for the Brevard College Tornadoes. In addition to the outstanding quality of care provided by the orthopedic doctors, Party also offers cares in the areas of oncology, cardiovascular, primary care, and several subspecialties. Party Sports Medicine, proud partners with Brevard College Tornado Athletics. Well, an exciting time around here at Brevard College. We're coming down the home stretch when it comes to men's and women's basketball, but also the spring sports are getting underway, and baseball will open its season this weekend. So an exciting time there. Head coach Mike Victory, along with his staff and the team, has been working hard getting ready for a 3-game series this weekend at Averett. And up in Virginia, former USA South Conference foe, now a non-conference series, with 3-game series, doubleheader on Saturday, game 3 of the series on Sunday. Best of luck to the Tornadoes baseball team. Women's basketball, we'll be talking to head coach Donald Hudson a bit later. They've got a off week this week in terms of the action on the court this week in terms of the weekdays, Monday through Friday, but they'll be back in action at Methodist, so hitting the road in USA South Conference play. And then the final home game of the season for the women's basketball team, who are right in the hunt when it comes to USA South Conference standings, towards the top of those standings. BC will play Greensboro on Wednesday, February the 15th, 7 p.m. at the Bosch. Men's basketball coming off an impressive 71-68 road win at Southern Virginia this past weekend, and then 3 home games in 6 days, beginning with a game tomorrow, Tuesday, at the Bosch. BC will host Greensboro. BC will then play Methodist on Saturday at 2 p.m., and then North Carolina Wesleyan 2 p.m. on Sunday at the Bosch. Hope you can catch us here in person at the Boschmer Gymnasium, or if you're not able to make it here, be sure to tune in. We'll be bringing you all those games on the YouTube channel. And with that, we're going to invite in our first guest, head men's basketball coach Lee Burgess. Coach Burgess, thanks for joining the show.
Yeah, you're welcome, Phil. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, do want to start with this win over the weekend in Buena Vista, Virginia, a 71-68 result for the Tornadoes. Jadon Carnes, who we're going to have on the show a little later, leading the way offensively, 18 points, 9 of 12 from the field. Quincy Carter, LB Boyette with big contributions. Also, Charles Reed and Kayvon Horton getting it done in a lot of ways also, just to name a few. But would love to hear from your perspective, Coach, how that game unfolded and, what the takeaways were.
Yeah, really fun game to be a part of for us. Southern Virginia handed it to us pretty good here when they came in and played us here. I want to say they got out to an 18-2 lead here and never really looked back. So we go into the game at their place. Really, I mean, it's a must-win for us at this point in the year with where we are in the standings. We had to win that game, and we started down 12-0. And talking to them, talking to the team during our first time media timeout, the scoreboard wasn't going like we wanted to go, but I think everybody could feel like we were doing things the way we wanted to do them. It just hadn't gone our way quite yet. It was just really proud of the guys for sticking with it. We get into the halftime down 5. We're down 29-24 at half, and we're 0 of 11 from the arc and 0 of 4 from the free throw line, and down by 5. And just really told them, I felt like what we were doing was right. We just needed to stick with it. Tighten up a few things here and there, but stick with it. And we got it rolling in the second half, shooting the ball, made 7 threes, I think, in the second half, and shot it well, and guarded them well throughout. They had 2 guys, Sean Kennedy and Cole Baker, for them, combined for 52. Those 2 guys had outstanding games, but we made it really, really hard on them to score. So I thought we guarded them well. We finally knocked down some shots and came away with a really, really big road win that we had to have. But just really proud of the guys for sticking with it, not pushing the panic button, not letting their energy sag when the ball wasn't going through the basket right away. Just stayed energized throughout, which was a great step for us to take.
And obviously a critical stretch coming up here. Coach, still in the mix in terms of USA South Conference postseason play, but, every game vital at this point begins with tomorrow versus Greensboro at the Bosch.
Yeah, big game. They all are from here on out, like you said. A team that we beat at their place in a game that we played really well. Definitely focusing on some things today at practice that we need to do better. We went into that game and we got the win, but we gave up 21 offensive rebounds for Greensboro, and we don't want that to happen again. They're a very talented team. They've got very talented personnel. Matthew Brown is a very difficult cover for a lot of people. He's got good size, can make threes, can score around the basket, can put it on the floor. I mean, he's a tough matchup for anybody in this league. So we'll have to be really good on him. They've got other players as well that are very talented. So if we allow those talented players to get easy looks, and then if we are fortunate enough to get a miss, allow them to get 21 offensive rebounds, it will be a tough game for us again. We want to make things a little bit better, on the glass. We shot it well there as well. So it'll be a tough game. They're 5-5 in league play. They've had some really good wins, and we will have to play well. And challenging our guys to play well at the Bosch. We've done all right on the road this year. We're 3-3 in league play on the road, and have not been able to replicate that at home. And really challenge our guys today to be able to do that. So I'm hopeful we'll be able to come out and put a good foot forward, and the home crowd will be able to see us at our best.
Also part of the evening tomorrow versus Greensboro is a special game, a special programming that happens every year here with the Brevard College Tornado men's basketball program. Read Out for Jimmy Griffin Legacy Foundation. For folks who are not aware, the Read Out game every year here at Brevard College is in memory of former Samford University player Jimmy Griffin, and in support of the foundation. Griffin played under Coach Burgess when Burgess was an assistant coach at Samford, and he tragically passed away in his sleep in September of 2009 from an undetected heart condition. So, we do our best to raise awareness. It's also Heart Month for the American Heart Association, and we're trying to help folks become aware that we're not done with helping this important cause and making sure fewer and few people have this sort of thing happen to them. But would love to hear from you, Coach, as far as just the legacy of Jimmy Griffin and how it's remained so close to you over all these years.
Yeah, we do this game for a couple of reasons. Number one, like you said, to raise awareness. It is American Heart Month, and we'll be wearing our red shooting shirts, for the Read Out, and just trying to encourage people to be aware of their heart health. That is certainly one reason that we do this game. Another reason that we do it is really to honor Jim Griffin, to honor his family, and a very tragic event that took place towards the end of my time at Samford. So one of the things that his parents asked is just keep his name alive as best you can. Keep a light on his name and talk about him when you can, and just we just want people to remember him. And this has been a good way that we've been able to do it since I've been at Brevard. And so I got to stand in the locker room and talk to my team today about who Jim Griffin was, and super tough competitor. Tell you he's from the south side of Chicago, and if you're from the south side of Chicago, then you're automatically tough. And he was, and selfless as a teammate. Was willing to give anything he could for the betterment of the team, and that's why his teammates loved him at Samford, and why he was such a big part of our program there. And able to communicate that to our players, and just again talk about him and try to honor his parents' request on keeping his name and legacy alive. So, we do it to certainly raise awareness, but a big reason why we do it is out of honor for Jim and honor for his parents, to continue to talk about him and what kind of player in person he was, and definitely enjoy talking to my team about that today.
Outstanding. And then another special event Sunday prior to the game that tips off at 2 p.m. Senior Day here with the men's basketball program, and an impressive group of seniors this year, Coach. I'd love for you to comment on this class's contribution altogether, and of course how special that day is going to be. Think we may have lost you there for a second, Coach, but would love to hear your comments on the senior class of the 2023 season, and how special of a group they've been.
Yeah, very special, and we've got 5 of them, which is as we haven't had 5 seniors in a long, long time. So we will honor all 5 of them as best as we possibly can. They've been a big part of us pushing this program forward, coming out of so Paris and David got here. They've been here 4 years, and they got here when we were still not eligible for postseason play. And so coming out of that transition and then leading the group through COVID, Quincy and Eli have been part of the program now for 3 years, and then and Chancey Watson as well. So special group that we'll honor as best we can. We're also gonna honor our student assistant manager, Mia McGee, who's been with us for 4 years as well, and big part of our program. So I'm looking forward to that day and getting to celebrate with them and their family, and hopefully getting a big win against North Carolina Wesleyan. But that's a special group that has carried us through a lot of transitions, a pandemic, a transition from our Division III transitional days. So they've seen a lot and have continued to push this program forward, which we are all very thankful for.
All 5 of them, plus student manager Tamia McGee. I can attest they've been outstanding, student athletes, when they've come on shows like this and, dealt with us on the sports information staff. So well-deserved honor on Sunday. Hope a lot of folks can make it out to the Bosch for that. Coach, you able to stick with us a couple moments longer as we invite in a couple of your student athletes into the program?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, entering the building now, LB Boyette in that bottom left location, also Jadon Carnes on the bottom right location. I'll turn it back over to you, Coach. Tell us more about these two.
Yeah, we got LB here, a junior for us from Charlotte. Our leading scorer statistically right now, leading the team in scoring, a big part of what we do. He's a very difficult guard, makes threes, can score with his back to the basket, and has had major contributions to the team this year. Jadon Carnes, a freshman from Concord, and has gotten better and better and better as the year has gone on, and his points per game are inching closer and closer to double figures. Been newcomer of the week a couple times in the conference, and is playing at a high level right now. And it's a good thing for us. We need him. So he has continued to steadily improve as the season has gone on. So very thankful for both these guys, and can't wait to see how we finish out the year.
Very good. Well, thanks for joining us, Coach. 3 home games in 6 days. We can't wait to be a big part of it here at the Bosch, and best of luck. We'll see you tomorrow night for Greensboro.
Appreciate it, Phil. Thanks.
All right, there he goes, head coach Lee Burgess. And as he helped us introduce these two, Jadon Carnes now in the upper right position as he shifts over in the rotation here. Jadon, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Outstanding. And LB Boyette has joined us as well. LB, how you doing? I think we're having a little trouble with your audio, LB.
I sound good.
There you go. Gotcha. Good to see you. Well, let's start with this win over the weekend, because, we were busy hosting a women's basketball game here. And so we only got to, get updates here and there following the live stat feed and that kind of thing. But you guys obviously got it done up there at Southern Virginia. LB, let's start with you. What was the key to that victory up there in Buena Vista, Virginia over the weekend?
I pretty much think the key was just what were we going to do when adversity, what were we going to do when, we got caught in a situation where we were uncomfortable. At the start of the game, they were playing pretty well. They went on a 12-0 run, like Coach said, and, what happens when, you know, the other team goes on a run, how will we respond? And I think that was the key to winning our game.
Outstanding. And same question for you, Jadon. You actually, we see LB stats there, big day there, getting it done on the distribution end too, by the way, 5 assists along with those 14 points. But Jadon, 18 points, really efficient from the field, 9 of 12 from the field, and getting that win at Southern Virginia. Would love to hear from your perspective. You know, you obviously were getting it done offensively, but as far as the team went, you know, how did you guys pull off that win? You know, it was a tight game down the stretch.
Yeah, I mean, to piggyback off what LB said, definitely trying to handle the adversity is a big factor. But I think having the opportunity to compete, but also most importantly, enjoy doing it. And so I think most everybody on the team had fun competing in that game. And that was a huge factor in for us pulling it out.
Yeah, and you know what it does, I think, as much as anything, it really propels you forward into this week. You know, 3 home games in 6 days. So now you get back to the friendly confines of the Boshemer Gymnasium. You got the home crowd behind you. You get to sleep in your own bed, all these things. But it begins tomorrow, 7 p.m. versus Greensboro, then games over the weekend versus Methodist and NC Wesleyan. Jadon, let's start with you. You know, what's going to be the key kind of keeping this thing rolling and getting it done this week at home?
Yeah, I think for us is to continue to stay focused. I think the win over Southern Virginia gives us a really big confidence boost going into this 3-game week, and I think that's a really big deal for us. But I think being able to stay disciplined in what we're supposed to do and to be able to continue to handle adversity like we did against Southern Virginia, we have a really good chance in all 3 of these games this week.
LB, I see you nodding your head. You're looking forward to this little home stretch here, I'd imagine.
Yes, sir, I am. I think the key to this home stretch is just how hungry we are. You know, obviously we're we're not doing, you know, we're not doing bad, but we're not doing too good in our league right now. But you know, this home stretch is big for us. So I feel like our group right now, we're hungry. You know, we're hungry for a win. We're hungry to, you know, please the home crowd. You know, to get a win at the Boston Gymnasium. So I think that's what it comes down to. How hungry we are.
LB, tell us about that home crowd. When that place gets packed and when it gets going, and we've gotten it packed before, and, you know, whether it's one of these big back and forth games, whether it's the tornado tip off, that kind of thing, when you guys are doing the dunk competition, that place can get loud. How much does that help you as a player when the place is rocking?
It's crazy, man. I love the atmosphere when it gets like that here. When we have, you know, the students, parents, faculty, when we have everybody here and the place gets jumping and the place gets rocking, it boosts my game up and it boosts my teammates' game up. I already know that. From a good standpoint, I actually feel like it helps us. It helps us propel, you know, give us more energy to go out there and do what we need to do for our crowd back at home.
Yeah, well said. Jadon Carnes, a freshman forward out of Concord, North Carolina. Jadon, now that you're in your second semester of college life and, you know, coming down the home stretch, your first season as a collegiate basketball player, would love to hear from you as far as, like, you know, how has it been in terms of college basketball versus what you're used to on the high school level, and just, you know, how this overall experience has been being a collegiate student athlete?
Yeah, it's been great. You know, it's definitely a step up from high school, and it's definitely not the easiest thing in the world, but, you know, that's a part of the process, and that's what makes it so fun. So being able to go on road trips and play in different gyms and being able to time manage, you know, schoolwork with basketball, with other outside things, it's definitely not easy, but that's part of the process, and that's what makes it so enjoyable.
Yeah, and LB Boyette, the junior out of Charlotte, North Carolina. You know, Jadon's one of several talented young players you guys have on this roster, and I know yourself, along with, you know, the other upperclassmen in the senior class, you know, have been helping these guys along throughout the season. But now it's kind of coming to fruition where there's such major parts of the team. Tell us about, you know, kind of, you know, the young blood here with the Tornadoes.
Man, Jadon's a great player, man. Jadon, he's always in the right spots. Every time, I think all my assists last game came off of Jadon. That's just because he's always in the right spots. We have RJ, we have Darius. We got a lot of young guys that, like, are really good. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of young guys that are just, you know, they're sticking to the process. We have Zane. Like I said, we got a lot of good guys. And just not good basketball players, but also high individual people. Like they're good character, you know, they're well respected. And yeah, as long as they keep on the same route, you know, it looks good for us. It looks good for the program.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it all begins tomorrow, 7 p.m. versus Greensboro. As LB told us, it makes a difference when that crowd gets out there. So come on out, folks, and support these men's basketball student athletes coming off the big 71-68 win over Southern Virginia. Hey, let's take things into the classroom, guys. LB, tell us what you're working on academically.
Working on academically, probably anatomy. Anatomy is one of my toughest classes right now. It's my major, exercise science, so I need to do well in that class. I need to have a good grade in that class. So anatomy.
The science part of exercise science, huh? Yeah, I'd imagine that's a challenge. Thanks for sharing that. And Jadon, have you zeroed in on a major, and what are you working on this semester?
Yeah, so I'm continuing to take a lot of gen ed classes, but I'm sticking with physical education and recreation as my major going forward.
Very good. Jadon Carnes and LB Boyette. Well, this weekend's also senior day, guys. And you might have heard Coach Burgess talking a little bit about this senior class and just how much they've contributed to the program. Would love to hear from each of you guys as far as those seniors go, how it's been playing with them, for you, LB, over the years, Jadon, for you in your freshman season, and, also just, how much they've meant to the program. LB, kick us off.
Well, I'll start, Paris, David, Chance, Eli, who else am I missing? Quincy, man. All those guys, they've impacted our program in such a great way. And I'll say they've impacted me personally just from a developmental standpoint. They've always pushed me to be, better. They've always told me that, I'm better than what I was. And they always wanted to see me do better than I currently am doing. So I feel like they've pushed me to be even more of a leader, more of a great person. And like I said, man, like our whole team is filled with talented basketball players, but just as individuals, like we're just high character guys. And I think that's what makes this senior class so special because, like I said, I got here during COVID and they were already here. So, they helped me with the process of COVID. And, that's a big mental challenge. So having those guys there to be with me all throughout those years, that really made an impact on me and the program.
Jadon, how has the senior class helped you in your development?
Yeah, so all 5 of the guys have been a really big piece to helping me understand college from the athletic side to the academic side. They've definitely shown me the ropes and what it takes to be a collegiate athlete and how this program is supposed to run and what it takes to be successful. So they've been a big part for letting me and teaching me how to learn and grow to become the best player and student that I can be.
Outstanding. Well said. We can't wait to help celebrate that senior class, really deserving of being honored on Sunday. And, that'll happen before that game versus NC Wesleyan. But hey, first things first, one game at a time. I know that's the mentality you guys take. And tomorrow versus Greensboro, 7 p.m. Tuesday at the Bosch. Hope folks can come out for that one. Before we let you go, guys, want to give you the opportunity for shout outs or thank yous. Anyone you might want to, just say hello to or give a hat tip to or just thank for them helping you out through your journey. LB, kick us off.
I just want to say thank you to my teammates, man. Thank you to my teammates. Thank you to my coaches. Just thank you for everybody that supports Brevard College and supports the men's basketball program. I really appreciate y'all. Thank you, Phil.
Well said, LB. Jadon, same opportunity for you.
Yeah, thank you for all my teammates, coaches, family, friends back home, just everybody that supported me and the program along the way. Definitely forever grateful for that.
Hey, great job this evening, guys. Jadon Carnes and LB Boyette. Can't wait to see you in action at the Bosch tomorrow night versus Greensboro. See you then.
Yes, sir, Phil. Thank you.
All right, there they go. Jadon Carnes and LB Boyette. Appreciate them. We're going to effort in our next guest now as we turn the page to women's basketball here on this edition of Tornado Talk, and joined once again by head women's basketball coach Donald Hudson. Coach Hudson, thanks for joining the program.
What's up, Phil? Thanks for having me on, man. Always a pleasure. Thanks.
Always a pleasure, Coach. Well, we had a conversation following this weekend, and this is as tough a stretch as I can remember, the Tornadoes women's basketball team going through. But, I know, chins are up high and you guys are ready for the next challenge, but would love to hear from your perspective, Coach, 4-game skid and looking to get right back on track, still in the mix for USA South Conference standing standpoint and, heading towards the postseason. But love to hear from you, Coach, as far as where the team's at right now and, what's around the corner.
Yeah, Phil. Not the ideal situation that we want to be in. We've kind of put ourselves in a position where we've dropped our last 4, and 2 of the 4 we thought we had a good shot at winning. The other 2 we just didn't give ourselves a chance to really win those games. We didn't shoot it well enough or didn't rebound well enough at the right times. But like you said, spirits are still high, Phil. Everything we still want to accomplish is still in front of us. We have a week of preparation this week starting tomorrow. We were off today. We were off Sunday and Monday today. And we'll practice the next 4 days and be ready going into Methodist for a really big game. It's a team that I think right now we're sitting in 4th. They're sitting in 5th. So it's going to be a battle. Both teams are going to be battling for hosting a playoff game, hosting a postseason game. And we know the importance of this game. So there's no time to feel sorry for yourselves. There's no time for pity or anything. We got to get this thing right, get back on the tracks. And it starts with tomorrow's practice, honestly. I can't tell you it starts this Saturday against Methodist. It's going to start tomorrow. We need a really good practice. Myself and coach, we're going to put in a really good game plan, and the girls are going to be ready. We're going to be ready to respond to this adversity that we're facing. I would love to tell you that we could go through this year without facing any adversity, but here it is. It is right here. We're in front of us now, and it's on us to lean on each other to get ourselves through it. We've talked about what needs to happen over the next week and a half, the next 2 weeks for us to kind of see the best version of ourselves. And I look forward to this week of practice and watching my team compete on Saturday.
Well said, Coach. Appreciate that answer, no doubt. And, Coach, still in the mix, very much so at the very top of the USA South Conference. There's Greensboro, then there's a lot of teams bunched up there, kind of 2, 3, 4, 5 in the standings. Is that something, you consider much, or is it kind of just tunnel vision as far as what's ahead of you? But is that part of the formula as well, as far as keeping an eye on the standings and also the opportunity by being that far up in the standings?
Yeah, we'll definitely take glances at it. We'll definitely take peeks at it to see where we are. But I've always been a person, a player, a coach that kind of wants to stay focused on my group and one day at a time, one step at a time. I've kind of stated this earlier in the year. We can't go up this staircase without going over that first step in front of us. So, yeah, we've peeped at the standings. We know where we stand, and we know what has to happen. A lot can change over the next week and a half, the next 2 weeks. Like you said, there's Greensboro, and then there's 3 to 4 teams with 4 or 5 conference losses and with 3 more games left. So a lot can change. We're kind of just worried about us right now. We got to be the best versions of ourselves before we can worry about anybody else, Phil.
We're going to have her on the show in just a little bit, Coach. So there'll be an opportunity for you to, speak even further on her with her on the screen at the same time. But I would like to, take the moment to really recognize your lone senior in this year's class, Journey Tyler, just a sensational student athlete. I mean, incredible work in the classroom as well. And, really a big part of this program over the years, but would love to hear from your perspective, Coach, just, how meaningful her journey, no pun intended, here at Brevard College has been, being a member of the team that you coach.
Yeah. It's been an honor. It's been an honor and privilege to coach her over the last 3 years. And today, being February 6th, I think today, and looking back to when she first came in 2020, totally 180, Phil. Totally different person. I shouldn't say different person. She's just more outgoing now. I guess she's always been the same person, but was very reserved when she first came. Didn't say much in practice, wouldn't say much outside of practice. And now you hear her voice in practice. You hear her voice on the bus. You hear her on the road trips, kind of communicating with some of our younger players. And it's been an honor to watch her grow. Her game kind of speaks for itself. She's had some injuries in the past that kind of limited the time that she could play and the time that she's been on the floor. But everyone that watches us play know what the kid can bring, and that's just a smaller part of it. I'm really glad to have her a part of the program, and she's doing a lot of good things with our younger players right now. Being the lone senior, that can be tough. That can be hard. You're kind of older and a bit more mature than the rest of your teammates, and I'm pretty sure she feels it at times, but she's handling it in a really, really good way. And I'm proud of where she's come since she got here, and I wish her nothing but the best once she graduates and enters her future.
Very cool. Well, Tornadoes, like you mentioned, Coach, big week of practice this week, trip to Fayetteville, North Carolina, which is completely on the eastern side of the state versus Methodist, and then back at home versus Greensboro, the final home game of the year, Wednesday, February the 15th at 7 p.m. Coach, we'll catch up again next week to preview that one. But, before we bring in the student athletes, just, maybe a final message to NATO Nation as far as, women's basketball, just, what they've meant, as far as their support this year to you, and, how we need them as much as ever, down the stretch here.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't go unnoticed, Phil. And I try to say this as much as possible to everyone that'll listen. We really appreciate that home crowd environment. Even when we're not playing our best, you can still hear the crowd and feel the crowd waiting to erupt, waiting on us to do something to get them into it. And that helps. That helps get us over the hump sometimes in some of the closer games. And that's not just my program. That's the men's team. That's football. That's soccer. That's just since I played here, Phil, we've had really good home crowds. I appreciate it. We have one more at home. Hopefully we can be hosting a home playoff game and we can get that same environment. But for right now, stay with us over these next 3. A lot can change. A lot can happen. But we're ready to compete, ready to put on a good show for everyone.
That's right. 3 games left at Methodist this Saturday, home versus Greensboro on Wednesday, February the 15th at 7 p.m. at the Bosch. Then the regular season finale is at Salem on Saturday, the 18th. Coach, stick with us just a few moments longer here. We're going to bring in a couple of your student athletes, the aforementioned Journey Tyler, the senior who was celebrated over the weekend, and also Makenna Parkins has joined the program as well. Coach, before we let you go, tell NATO Nation even more about these 2 outstanding student athletes.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's easy to talk about these kids. Anybody that's kind of watched us play have seen what they bring to the game. But Makenna Parkins from Marion, North Carolina, Journey Tyler from Knoxville, they both are in their 3rd year playing with the program, and you've seen them grow each year. You've seen their game develop. You've seen them develop off the court as well. And it's been an honor. It's been an honor. It's been a privilege. I look forward to these next 3 and what postseason holds with the rest of this group. But these 2 really embody what we want to be as our team. They really do a good job of helping our younger players get used to how we do things around here and how the college game works. And I really appreciate both of you, ladies, if I don't say it enough. Appreciate y'all.
Very good. Well said, Coach. Well, appreciate you as well. And thanks for joining us this evening on Tornado Talk. We'll see you around the Boschmer Gymnasium. Best of luck this weekend at Methodist.
Yep. Thanks, Phil. Always a pleasure, man. Y'all have a good night.
All right. There he goes, head coach Donald Hudson. And as he helped us introduce, and now in the upper right corner of your screen, Journey Tyler. Journey, how are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Good. Great to have you on the program. And also Makenna Parkins joining us. How are you, Makenna?
I'm good, Phil. How are you?
Outstanding. Well, Journey, let's start with you. This past weekend on Sunday was senior day. I mean, what a moment that had to be for you before the game. Your family was here. You're the only senior in this year's class, which is a bit unusual, but what a day of celebration as far as that goes. I know the result wasn't what you wanted as far as, the win and the loss, but I'd love to hear your reflections on how meaningful the ceremony was before the game and, kind of like that moment of celebrating senior day.
Yeah. It's nice to be a part of, seeing my teammates kind of more excited than I was really. So, that felt good. Having them decorate the locker room, poster for me, it's just, shows how much they actually, how much they appreciate me and appreciate them for that. And then my coaches as well with the gifts on the court, gave me on the court, it was a fun night despite the outcome.
Yeah. And, senior guard out of Knoxville, Tennessee. I know a bunch of your family was there as well. I see them at a lot of the games, actually. Tell us who all came out for the senior day celebration.
Yeah, so my mom and dad, they've tried to come to every home game this year, see the end of my career play out. So they've made that trip a couple times this season. And then my sister came out to this one and brought her daughter, my niece, who walked me out. Just it's good to be able to play in front of them again. And then also my I call her my other mom, but my freshman year of high school, my basketball coach then, she's come out to a couple games to watch me. So yeah, it was nice to have her come out and see me as well. So.
Yeah, really, really cool, really special. Makenna Parkins, junior forward out of Marion, North Carolina. Makenna, would love to hear your comments on Journey, what she's meant to you as a teammate, and also, hey, it is kind of a celebration of the entire team and the entire program whenever you do these senior days. But would love to hear your thoughts as well on your teammate and how much you're going to miss Journey.
Yeah, so like Coach Hud said, me and Journey came in the same year. She transferred in my freshman year, so we've been here about the same amount of time. And to know Journey then and to know Journey now is two completely different journeys. She would hardly speak, super quiet, just kind of did her own thing. But now she'll talk louder than anyone in the locker room. She's always cutting up with us, and I really appreciate our friendship that we have now.
Yeah, well said. Makenna Parkins, the junior forward, Marion, North Carolina. Well, Makenna, we spoke to Coach a little bit, how this is such a critical juncture for you all, and big week of practice. There's no games during the week. You have a week of practice heading into Saturday. Tell us from the team's perspective, where your mentality is at as far as, hey, here's what we got to do. Everything's still in front of us, and it begins this week and then this weekend.
Yeah, so I think as a team, we've really realized our potential for this season. We talk a lot after games in the locker room before Coach comes in about just how good of a team we are, talent-wise, and the potential we have this season. We've talked about winning a ring this season and how it's just in grasp. And I think despite the lull that we've had the past couple games, we know that it's us that we just need to fix the little things. And moving forward, we know that we can still win it all if we really want to.
Yeah, in Journey, I know you have a lot of faith in this team, and so much success you guys have had, earlier this season, and also last year with that great run. But there's everything, like I said, is right in front of you. But I'd love to hear from you, Journey, as far as this team, and how close and how resilient you are, and how you guys, I believe, you're going to get it done down the stretch here.
Yes, sir. This team we have so many talented individual players. Everybody who sees the court has an effect on the game. And if we could put everything that we've worked on all season, if we put all that together over these next few games, the rest of the regular season, and going into the postseason, I think we have a really good chance to come out with the championship, and so looking forward to that.
Yeah, indeed, we need some more hardware around these parts, no doubt. Makenna, you've had a great year once again, double figure scoring in 17 games this season, 7 double-doubles, so getting it done on the boards as well. And a lot of people, I'm sure, if you watch this program regularly, you also know that you're, a dual sport student athlete who's also on the volleyball team. How do you transition from volleyball over to basketball so quickly? Because the seasons do overlap in terms of basketball practice is already underway while you're still in the, really the heat of things, USA South Conference playing volleyball. How do you make that work, Makenna?
It has a lot to do with my teammates. They're very welcoming when we get back from volleyball. I'm definitely very rusty when they've been practicing for a couple weeks to a month and I haven't touched a basketball. It's definitely interesting to see that little stretch. But no, it just have to put in the work outside of practice to get better. And there has been days that I'll come in early in the season and think, wow, this ball's really heavy compared to a volleyball. And you just have to deal with it.
Yeah, no doubt. Congrats on continuing to make those both work, and can't wait to see what's next. Tyler, you are set to graduate with a Bachelor of Arts degree in English, and you have several minors as well. You've been a Dean's List student virtually every semester, I believe, that you've been here. All sorts of academic accolades. Tell us, Journey, about your studies, and then also what you hope to do professionally once you graduate Brevard College.
Yeah, been long past 3 years academically trying to just keep my grades up and balance that with basketball. But with my English major, with that, I would like to go into teaching, middle school or high school, be an English teacher. And then also, it'd be nice if I could write a couple books, become an author, maybe. And then with my minors, I have 3 of them: coaching, education, and exercise science. Just, I would like to continue my basketball career as a coach after this year. I think it's just trying to get sorry.
No problem. Well, Journey, we're going to have faculty athletics representative, Dr. Joshua Wilkey. I think you both know Dr. Wilkey on the show a little later. And, I bet he would be interested in this as well. As far as the younger student athletes who, might be, even having trouble figuring it all out as far as, this new life as a college student athlete and how you can get it done both on the court and in the classroom. Someone like yourself who's done so well in the classroom, what would you, are there a couple pointers or a couple things you would tell a younger player, as far as, hey, here's how you balance sports and academics and how you can do both successfully?
Yeah, just try to have a plan. Like, got to go to class, obviously, and then when you try to have a schedule, you can fit your homework in, fit time to study, and then also fit that time to go get in the gym to and just take the classroom as seriously as you take basketball. So it's not too hard if you focus as much as you should in the classroom, get things done in there, and then the basketball will come. It'll play out the way it's supposed to. But as long as you take care of your business in there, which is something that Coach AP preaches a lot. So as long as you just handle that, you'll be fine.
Yeah. I see you nodding your head, Makenna. Anything to add to that as far as what maybe advice you'd give for a freshman student athlete trying to figure this whole thing out?
It's really just time management, prioritizing what you need to do when you need to get it done. And the good thing about Brevard being a small school is your teachers really work with you well. They know you one-on-one. They know that you had a basketball game last night, and they're very understanding when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah, great to hear. No doubt there. Makenna, tell us a little bit about what you're working on in the classroom.
So I'm an exercise science major with a coaching minor, and the plan is to go to graduate school. I want to be an occupational therapist and work with special needs kids.
Outstanding. Well, it's great to have you both on the program this evening. Do you want to give you each the opportunity, thank yous or shout outs, a bit of a tradition here at Tornado Talk. Want to give you each that chance. Makenna, let's start with you. Anybody you'd like to give a shout out to?
First, I just want to thank the Lord for giving me the ability to do the things that I love to do, and my family for giving me the opportunity to come here and play ball, and my coaches. And then I would also like to thank the media team for making stuff like this happen and allowing people back home to watch our games online that can't be with us.
Appreciate that. Great work from Brady Penn as well, calling a lot of the action for the women's basketball team, and, a great group of students, working behind the scenes also for those YouTube productions. Journey Tyler, the senior from Knoxville, Tennessee. Shout outs, thank yous coming off of the senior day celebration.
Yeah, so obviously everyone I mentioned earlier that came to my senior night, everybody, my coaches, teammates, and also my former coaches and teammates, so many people have had an impact on me being here and the person and the basketball player that I've become. So, appreciate all of them.
Outstanding. Well, Journey, congratulations. I know there's plenty more to come here. We've got 3 games left in the regular season. We've got postseason action. We're not done yet, but I just want to congratulate you. Say it's been a joy to watch you on the court and also, around campus and everything. And, I can't wait to see what's next after graduation. Congrats again on, a great career in the college basketball arena here at Brevard College. And Makenna, keep up the great work as well. I think you guys are are onto something, and you're gonna, turn this thing around real quick here and make some noise down the stretch in USA South Conference play. It's been great to have you both on the program this evening.
Sir, thank you.
Thank you for having us.
All right, there they go, and we will quickly bring in our next guest. Welcome into the program now, head cheerleading coach Chandler Ryan. Coach, thanks for joining the show.
Hello.
Well, long overdue for us to have you here on Tornado Talk. Really appreciate you joining us this evening, and would love to kind of just talk, sort of big picture. You're in your second year now with the cheerleading team, and tell us some of the things that you try to accomplish with the team here with Brevard College cheerleading, and your vision for the program as we move forward.
So right now I'm really trying to work towards competing. When I cheered at Brevard, we went to competitions all the time, and we're actually pretty good. And I'm just trying to get them back into that kind of groove, because I know a lot of collegiate schools, they do compete, and I want them to have that experience. So I'm really trying to push for that, and it didn't work out this year, but I'm really pushing for it next year. So we'll see.
Yeah, did something certainly to keep an eye on it and look forward to. And, you all have such an important presence at football games, at men's basketball games, at women's basketball games, as far as, creating that spirit. It's also an opportunity for you guys to, show off your skills and the stunts and so forth. But, love for you to take us through football and then also basketball as far as, sort of the mission of the cheerleading squad for each of those sports.
So football is really a good opportunity to practice more collegiate stunting, just because it's easier to do it on turf, and it just brings a lot of crowd excitement, I guess. And then basketball is so fast paced, and we only have a little bit of time to really do stunts. And a lot of the stunts that we do aren't USA Cheer legal on the court, so it's hard for us to really showcase a lot of that, but it's easier for us to show more spirit and peppiness, I guess, during basketball, because it's such a fast-paced environment.
Yeah, and Chandler, you are an alum of Brevard College, and it's great to have you now in this role as part of the coaching staffs here in the athletic department, 2017 alumna of Brevard College. You mentioned it briefly, you touched on it a little bit, but would love to hear even more as far as your experience at Brevard College, how it sets you up, for what you've been doing post-graduation and, ultimately getting into the coaching world.
So I actually, I got a cheer scholarship to Brevard and majored in business, and now I have my paralegal degree. But I went immediately into coaching and choreography right out of college. So I was traveling in the summers doing choreography for high schools and different all-star teams. It's pretty much like Western North Carolina. So I was coaching anywhere from Hickory, and then we even went into Sevierville, Tennessee. So I was doing a lot of that, and I actually was getting ready to take a break from it for a little bit until I got the call to come back to Brevard. And I was like, you know what? I think that would be an amazing experience to go back to where I was to coach kids. So.
Yeah, it would be great to have you back, no doubt about it. And, does it give you I'm sure it does, but I would love to hear the ways that helps you as a coach. The fact that you were a student athlete here, in these same shoes that the student athletes that you work with are in today, and how familiar you are, with the college.
Yeah, I think it allows me to have a little bit more grace with them, because I understand that, school does come first, and I want them to succeed in their studies. So it allows me to give them a little bit more freedom when it comes to schoolwork. But I also know that cheerleading is I try to be, I guess the best way for me to put it is I try to set an example for them so they can be better students in the classroom. But I guess that's basically where I would go with that.
Yeah, that sounds good. Well, I do want to bring it back to the actual, practice sport, of cheerleading. And I shared this with our Tornado Club group the other afternoon. And I was pretty blown away by this when I had this conversation with one of your student athletes who's a member of the football team.
Mhm.
And he told me, I asked him point blank, I said, what is tougher? What are the differences between cheerleading and football? And he says, I'll tell you what, cheerleading's harder. It's harder than football. And it was like this, like, whoa, I can't believe he just had that take, kind of thing. But once we got talking about it and kind of into the details of it, it made a lot of sense.
Mhm.
This idea that the risk is so high, as far as, someone potentially having a, serious injury, if things go wrong, the different, muscle memory you need and muscle groups that you use for some of these, stunts and so forth. And, after we talked it through, it made a lot of sense, actually. So would love to hear from you as far as, what people might not realize as far as the technical side and just how difficult what these stunts and what you guys do as cheerleaders and what people might just take for granted when they're at a game and they see the cheerleaders pull something like that off.
I think cheerleading's come a long way since it first became a thing. I think especially with like school cheerleading, a lot of people just think that we're cheering on the team on the sidelines, and they don't really look at it as like a sport. But and like the NCAA doesn't recognize cheerleading as a sport, so it's kind of hard to deal with that a little bit, especially from like outside people that don't really know anything about cheerleading. But definitely it's all a mind game, really. Like it does take a lot of muscle and skill, but a lot of it is mental, especially when you're throwing people up a few feet in the air and they're flipping. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot mentally and physically.
Yeah, certainly, a difficult challenge. And, last one before we're going to bring in a couple of your student athletes, Coach, as far as what it takes in terms of the preparation, when we're at a basketball game and we see the Tornadoes cheerleading squad put together, one of these stunts during a media timeout, how many reps and how many hours did it take to prepare for those moments?
So we practice at least twice a week for 2 hours, because I know like this group that I have right now, they're pretty good with like me showing them how to do something and they've got it. So I don't practice with them too much, but we at least show up at the most 2 hours before a game. And stunts that we've done constantly, I'm like, okay, do it 3 times. And once it hits, like, you're good. But when they're learning a stunt, it can take anywhere from like 30 to 50 times for them to even like get it. And then even then it's like anything can go wrong at any point. And then, but they're pretty good with getting the reps in and then hitting them every time. So
yeah, that preparation behind the scenes that we're not privy to, that you just know it has been put in, no doubt. Coach, stick with us just a couple moments longer. We're going to bring in a couple of your student athletes into the program, and joining the program now, Ashley Hoxit, also Aaron Buds. Great to have these two with us. Coach, before we let you go, help introduce these two outstanding student athletes to NATO Nation.
So Aaron is one of my senior boys. He's been with me since I got there, really. And great kid all around. Like anything I ask him to do, he's doing it. And we're actually looking at him coming back to help me coach next year. So that's exciting. And then Ashley, she's also been with me the past 2 years. And she is just fantastic. Like, I'll be like, hey, you want to do this? And she's like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. Like, I'll learn anything. So they're both great kids, and I love having them.
Outstanding. Well said, Coach. Well, can't wait to see you in your squad back in action. There's a basketball game tomorrow night versus Greensboro, and looking to create a big environment for that. And just on behalf of all of us at the Department of Athletics, thank you so much for your leadership and for all that the cheerleading program does for the spirit here, but also these student athlete experiences as well.
Thank you for having me.
Very good. There she goes, Coach Chandler Ryan, and join us as she helped us introduce these two. In that upper right corner is Ashley Hoxit. Ashley, welcome to the program.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yeah, great to have you. And Aaron Butts is here as well. Aaron, thanks for being here.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, great to have you. Well, Aaron, let's start with you. Would love to hear your journey as a cheerleader and how this became a passion. I mean, Coach just alluded to it that you might want to get into coaching this sport of cheer. Would love to hear your journey and how it's become something that's important and something that you really are passionate about.
Yeah, man. So this is my now third year cheering at Brevard and my whole life. But so I came here as a football player back in 2018, and then I quit doing that and sat out a year. And then I've sort of always had some friends on the cheer team that always wanted me to come out and try out for the squad. And in 2020, I finally decided, I'll just come out and try it. And then from day one, I kind of fell in love with it. It was just a lot of fun being on a team again, having that kind of a feeling of a community. It's not gonna lie, it's fun being around a bunch of girls all the time. So yeah, but yeah, no, it really has turned into a passion of mine. I think about cheer all the time. I'm always talking with Coach Chandler and my other teammates about new things we can do. I'm always have fun at the games. I have a good time at practice with all of them. And yeah, hopefully I can come on staff with her next year. And I'm excited to see how that'll go for me and how the recruiting process works like on the other side of things, as a coach, as a college coach. So yeah, I'm really excited about it.
Very cool. And Ashley Hoxit, Ashley, I've called many of your volleyball matches, and now a member of the cheerleading team as well. Dual sport athlete, member of the volleyball program as well as cheer. Tell us about your cheerleading experience. Is this something that you might have done earlier in your lifetime, and how did it evolve here at Brevard College as well?
So cheer was really big in my family growing up. My mom, my aunt, my cousins. My cousin cheered at NC State when she was in college, but I really never had the time to do it growing up because football and volleyball season were always at the same time. But luckily, my senior year during COVID, with regulations, North Carolina actually played football in the spring. So I tried out cheer for the first time my senior year. And then when I came to Brevard, I had some friends from high school that went here and were on the cheer team, and they're like, hey, you should come try out, it's a lot of fun. And I just gave into it, and now I'm here.
And tell us what it's been like to actually be part of the team. And you're used to being on the court at the Boshemer Gymnasium and in action, and now you're right there behind the baseline there, and really a big part of trying to keep the team, spirit going, and also get that crowd going as well. Not to mention, the stunts that you guys do during the breaks. But tell us about the experience cheering on the basketball team.
It's really fun to just kind of watch from a different perspective. I've definitely learned a lot more about the game of basketball just by cheering. I love going to practice and being there with my teammates. They're a lot of fun. We cut up and we have a good time. So.
Yeah, and Aaron, we talked to Coach a little bit about the work and the preparation that it takes to pull off these stunts. We get to see them during the media timeouts during the basketball games. I would love to hear from your perspective. That kind of preparation that you all have to put in order to master one of these stunts.
Yeah, just like Chandler said, it's a stunt can take some stunts we we pick up on it just like that, and we got it. But it's a lot different. Anybody can go in the weight room and just bench press whatever, but like when you're actually throwing people, it's so much different. You got to be, there's a different type of strength for that you have to have, and of course you got to, because it is somebody, you got to be careful. You don't want to drop anybody. So, but yeah, they can take forever to do, and then sometimes they're a little shortened out. But like, there's a few that we've been working on recently that, and I think, I don't know, we may bring them out. I'm not sure, but see what Chandler says. But that are starting to look pretty cool, and we're working on them a lot in practice. So be prepared. We might do something cool, something else. But yeah.
Yeah, and Ashley, would love to hear your comments as well on how much work you all have to put in. How volleyball is one skill set and probably one set of muscles that you have to use and different twitches and things like that. Yet cheerleading something altogether different. How do you sort of transition from one to the other, and also just how difficult is it to master one of these?
So like what Aaron said, like anybody can go in a weight room and squat a certain amount of weight or bench a certain amount of weight. Cheerleading is a lot of like muscular endurance. Like when you're holding a weight for a long time, like when we're doing these stunts and we're building these pyramids, like it's definitely a lot difficult in that aspect. And with volleyball, it's just endurance general. So I think the big change for me is it's not as much full endurance as it is muscular. So it's like you actually like need to lift weights to cheer. Like it's hard.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Hey, I'm sold after talking to a football dual student athlete, talking to your coach a bunch of times, now hearing you guys. Like, this is a difficult endeavor that you all are taking on. Well, Aaron Butts, a senior from Toccoa, Georgia, and Aaron, you're heading towards graduation here. You mentioned a little bit as far as wanting to get into coaching, but tell us about the degree that you're seeking and what you've been working on over the years here in the classroom here at Brevard College.
Yeah, so I'm actually an English major with an emphasis on creative writing, and my college journey as far as that's gone has been really interesting. I came in wanting to be like an elementary school teacher at one point, then a history major. Then I realized that I was somewhat of a decent writer, so I was like, well, maybe we should go the English route. So, I'm finally about to finish it up. And but what I really want to do, and that I've been working on, I've got a few in my back pocket that I've been really writing on. But I want to, or at least the dream is to become a singer-songwriter. And even if I don't, actually get on stage and singing, like I just think it'd be pretty cool to get to Nashville, sell some songs to a record company, see somebody like Morgan Wallen singing a song, someday. So that's what I'd like to do. So I'm, within that, I'm using the creative writing emphasis. So, and that's been my whole thing for a little while now, but yeah.
Awesome. Well, can't wait to see what's next, Aaron. The multi-talented Aaron Butts out of Toccoa, Georgia, heading towards graduation here at Brevard College. And Ashley Hoxit, the sophomore, we mentioned dual sports student athlete, also on the volleyball team out of Balsam Grove, North Carolina, not far from us here at Brevard College. Ashley, tell us what you've been up to in the classroom.
So I'm an exercise science major with a minor in coaching. And my goal is to become a strength and conditioning coach and just work with younger athletes. I'm actually coaching a travel volleyball team now at a local club. And it's been a lot of fun to just kind of experience like what my future career could be.
Very good. Well, want to give you each the opportunity for any shout outs or thank yous you may have. Ashley, we'll stick with you. Get us started.
I'll give a shout out to my family for always supporting me. They're the reason I'm here, and just my coaches and my teammates for always pushing me, and my past coaches and teammates for pushing me to get where I am now.
Very good. Well, can't wait to see you back there again, cheerleading, Ashley, and also back on the court on some volleyball action as well. Looking forward to that. And Aaron Butts, the senior out of Toccoa, Georgia, same opportunity for you, my friend.
Yes, sir. Definitely my family back home. I know they're watching. Thankful for everything they've done for me and all the sacrifices they've made for me to even go to college. And uh, my teammates, it's great being around them every day. They lighten my mood. They push me to be better. And a special shout out to my Uncle Chris. I've learned a lot from him over the years. So, yeah.
Well done. Well, have had a blast having both of you on the program this evening, Aaron Butts and Ashley Hoxit. Thanks for joining the show. We'll see you at the Bosch tomorrow night for the big men's basketball game versus Greensboro. Great job. Go Tornadoes.
Yeah, go Natos.
All right, there they go. We're going to switch gears quickly. We alluded to the classroom just these last couple minutes. We're going to bring in faculty athletics representative Dr. Joshua Wilkey making his Tornado Talk debut. Dr. Wilkey, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's wonderful to join you finally on Tornado Talk.
Yeah, no, this is outstanding. Can't wait to get into it with you here. And before we get started, Josh, folks who might be tuning in may not be familiar with the term faculty athletics representative, or what those duties are, or what that role is on a college campus. Can you give us sort of the elevator pitch on what an FAR does exactly?
Yeah, certainly. So one of the things I've learned, Phil, is that there is no singular way to be a faculty athletics representative. Every institution is required by the NCAA to have a faculty athletics representative who serves as essentially the conduit between athletics and the academic side. And so I represent athletics to my faculty colleagues, and I represent the, the faculty and academic affairs to my athletics colleagues. And so I find myself working with our student athletes, having conversations with them about their future, any issues they might be having in the classroom, conversations, sometimes tough ones, about how to balance being a student athlete with being a performer in the classroom, and really helping them find some skills and learn those communications techniques with their faculty. I also serve a lot as a conduit with athletic travel. Our student athletes, especially some of our spring sports, are out of the classroom a good bit of time. And so we work through, working with student athletes to communicate with those faculty members. And really, one of the things that I have found myself doing is really helping my faculty colleagues understand the importance of intercollegiate athletics at Brevard College. And it's not a unique thing, right, for Division III, for us to have a substantial percentage of our students who are student athletes, and they have that dual identity. And I have always said that intercollegiate athletics is one of the greatest opportunities for equity and access to higher education. And so I look at it as my job to help make sure that our students have that access.
Dr. Joshua Wilkey joining us here on the program, faculty athletics representative, the acronym for that, FAR. He's also the Associate Dean of Academic Affairs here at Brevard College. And, you took on this role beginning this past fall, and you've been at Brevard College, much longer than that. And you've gotten to interact with the student athletes over the years and in all your roles here at Brevard College. But, even more intimately now that you're in this FAR role, would love to hear your perspective as far as the makeup of a Tornado student athlete and, just what makes them exceptional.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll tell you a quick story. My first semester at Brevard College, I came in mid-semester to fill in teaching a class for a faculty member who left in the middle of the semester. And I came from graduate school at a Division I institution and had some experience teaching student athletes there. And so I brought that experience into my time at Brevard College. The first day of class, when I'm asking everyone in the class, tell me who you are, where you're from, and why you're here, almost all of them were student athletes. And I'll tell you, Phil, that gave me a little bit of anxiety because I didn't understand. We were Division II transitioning to Division III at the time. I didn't understand there was a difference in intercollegiate athletics by division. And by the end of that semester, though, I realized these student athletes are so special because they get a chance to play the sport they love, and they get to be scholar athletes. And so I learned very quickly, Phil, that our student athletes are very special because they are here to learn and they're here to enjoy their sport. They really embrace that dual identity. And I think for most of our Tornadoes, it is indeed a dual identity. They are not just here to play their sport, and they're also not just here to participate in whatever academic program or major they are in. So I see that our students work really hard, and our students do a lot of things that are asked of them and a lot of things that are not asked of them. I think about President Andrews' inauguration during homecoming week back in the fall. I was brand new as the FAR, and everywhere I went that week, there were student athletes volunteering and working and helping to make this campus function. And so I see them all over campus in so many different roles. And it's not, they're not just football players or basketball players. They are citizens of our campus community. And I think that's really what makes Tornado Athletics special here on the campus.
Well said, Dr. Joshua Wilkey with us. Well, they're getting it done, and the numbers speak for themselves. All sorts of school records were broken last year as far as how many academic all-conference winners we had and in GPAs and so forth. This past fall, the numbers have come in 11 BC teams with GPAs of a 3.0 or higher in the fall semester, and a school record 16 fall sports student athletes were named academic all-district by the College Sports Communicators group. That is the program, the big academic All-American program generates from there, and all 16 of those student athletes were nominated for the academic All-American team by way of that program. And just some outstanding numbers there. When you hear these sort of figures about the student athlete body, what comes to mind, Josh?
When I hear that figure, 11 teams above 3.0, I think it's important to pause and think about what that means. That doesn't mean 11 individuals with GPAs over. That means 11 teams made up of many individuals with a GPA over 3.0. And that's, I'm trying to do the math of what percentage of our fall athletes, our fall teams that represents. It's a substantial number, right?
Yeah.
And a 3.0 GPA is not an easy thing to accomplish, right? Especially when you consider that these students are on the field, they're on the practice field, they're on the court, they are participating in workouts in the morning sometimes before they go to class, they're going to practice after class, and then finding dinner and somewhere to eat and do their work in between all of that. And I just never cease to be amazed by the academic excellence exhibited by our athletics teams.
Well, Dr. Wilkey, most recently you got to join a few of those Tornado student athletes, two of our members of the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, Jamarcus Walker and Kaylin Murphy. They made the trip to San Antonio, Texas, along with yourself and several other administrators from here at Brevard College. And you got to experience the NCAA convention in this new role as faculty athletics representatives. You got to see our student athletes in this professional setting, plus just the enormity of an NCAA convention as far as all the people and all the power players all gathered under one roof. Would love to hear your reflections, your experience at the most recent NCAA convention in Texas.
Sure. Well, I'll say two things at the outset. It is the coolest thing I have ever done in my career in higher education. Just bar none, the coolest thing I've ever done. And the second thing I will say is that I was in awe of our student athletes and the way they represented Brevard College, the way they represented the USA South Conference, the way they represented the role of the student athlete at a major platform like that, right? Those students were everywhere. They were doing everything. They were learning so much, and they were really there where the levers of power are pulled. And they got to sit in during the voting session. As a matter of fact, one of the pieces of legislation that we approved at the NCAA convention was that we actually now allow the Division III National SAC to have a vote at the business session of the conference. So they actually get a formal voice in legislation moving forward after this year. And, just seeing Kaylin and Jamarcus, I saw them in passing, right? I didn't really even get to spend a lot of time with them, except whenever we saw each other in the airport, right? Because they were just busy and just doing it, right? And it was so fun to watch them. I kept up with them mostly through social media, right? And a couple of text messages here and there, but just to see the level of excitement. And I'll tell you, Phil, it gave me so much hope for the future of intercollegiate athletics. There are so many things that are up in the air about college athletics right now. These young people, and like when I see Aaron, who was on here previously talking about wanting to get into coaching, and I have conversations with student athletes. I taught a lot of student athletes who are actually graduate students last semester. Most of my graduate research methods course was graduate students who were student athletes. And to hear them talk about their career trajectory with the intention of getting into coaching, it just gave me a lot of hope for the future. We're in good hands.
Outstanding. And while you were there at the NCAA convention, Josh, were there I'd imagine you were in sessions specific to FARs, faculty athletics representatives. What were some of the big issues on the table that you all were discussing as FARs?
Sure. So one of the big issues that we always discuss as FARs is student retention. And of course, most of the retention initiatives within academic affairs fall within my wheelhouse as an administrator, as an associate dean. And so that's always at the front of my mind. But the other thing that we talked about a lot is student athlete mental health. And I think that's one of the more important things that we can be talking about right now. As a matter of fact, we passed legislation in the business session to enable a hardship waiver specifically for mental health, so that those students don't have to go through the same process as a physical health hardship waiver, right? And so it's at the forefront of our minds to talk about mental health, because I think it's really important. And coming out of COVID, our student athletes have a lot of mental health concerns. And I think we have to be mindful of that and be sure that we provide them with the resources they need.
Josh, would love for NATO Nation to get to know you a little more, and as far as your journey goes and how you ultimately wound up here at Brevard College. And, we share something in common, we both broadcast football games as,
Yes.
part of our career resume. Please weave that into, your journey here as we get to know you better.
Sure. So I couldn't afford to go to college when I was 18. And so I went to work instead. And it just so happened that there was a job opening at the local radio station in my hometown. And so I sold ads part of the time, and I ran the board during sports games. And then football season rolled around, and I started doing color commentary for the local high school football and did that for a few years. So fast forward, I ended up being a small business owner, owning and operating radio stations in small towns. And I always filled in as a color commentator for high school football. I loved that. I love the idea of Friday Night Lights. Game day is my favorite day on campus. Whatever sport that is, whether we're in the gym, whether we're on the field, whether we're on the tennis courts, whether we're on the baseball or softball diamonds, right? And so I just love I grew up listening to the Atlanta Braves on the radio. That was my thing. And so I fell in love with sportscasting at an early age. And I just, as I think about the soundtrack of my childhood growing up, it's always Atlanta Braves baseball, with Chip Carey and Pete Van Wieren there in the summer. And so it sort of almost came natural to me, right, to think about color commentary as a broadcaster. And of course, I've gotten out of it. And then at 31, I went to college and quickly realized that my calling is in the classroom, and I love it here. So for me, it's a nice chance to get re-involved with athletics. I was never an intercollegiate athlete myself, but I was a baseball player when I was younger. And so to get a chance to interact with our student athletes and get to hang out with you sometimes and talk sports, and I really enjoy that.
Outstanding. Well, we'll close with this, Josh. You've been at Brevard some time now, and you know this culture, this atmosphere, this special, college, small college, well under 1,000 students here. And it is a special place, that a lot of us have grown to call home. Tell us, as we wrap this one up, just how special Brevard College is, and, what makes your heart swell when, you think of Brevard College, and just, hopefully we can, continue to expose it to even more people who get to enjoy what we get to do on a daily basis working here.
Yeah, sure. So I've been at the college 7 years now. And as I mentioned, I started out as a part-time adjunct faculty member. And, now I'm the associate dean, and I've had a wonderful career trajectory. And it's because I love my colleagues, but more importantly, I love our students. Our students show up and they face adversity, and they deal with that adversity in ways that never cease to impress me. And it takes nothing more, right, than to watch an episode of Tornado Talk to see how phenomenal and outstanding our coaching staff and our student athletes are. I love getting to interact with those folks, and I love being able to tell their story, because their story is one of success in spite of odds, right? To be a student athlete at a place like Brevard College means that you really have to show up in the classroom and in your sport. And you have to show up year round, right? There's no easy time to be a student athlete. And, I think about our culture, I think about our mission of experiential education, and I think about the difference we make in the lives of our students. I'm old enough now, and I've been teaching long enough that the first group of students I taught have long since graduated, and they come back for homecoming. I was hanging out at the tailgate at homecoming with the lacrosse guys, right? All the alums who were lacrosse guys. And I just have always had a really good special bond with those guys. And to me, to see it come full circle, to see soldiers on leave from the Marines and see, successful real estate agents come back who've been my students, who I've taught, and to see that connection they have with Brevard College, that special connection I had with them, and to see them be successful with A, what they've learned at Brevard College as students, and B, what they have learned as student athletes at the college. It's all just really special. And that's why I love Brevard College.
Outstanding. Dr. Joshua Wilkey, the faculty athletics representative for the Tornadoes. Thank you so much for joining us this evening on Tornado Talk. Thanks for your leadership, as far as, all the things that an FAR does on a college campus and, and all your roles here at Brevard College. And, thanks for being such an advocate for the Tornadoes.
Sure. Very much welcome. Thanks for having me.
All right, Dr. Joshua Wilkey, great to have him on Tornado Talk. And thank you for joining us for this edition of Tornado Talk. We covered a lot of ground, men's basketball, women's basketball, cheerleading as well. And then we finished up with Dr. Joshua Wilkey, faculty athletics representative for the Tornadoes. Well, big week of basketball here at Brevard College. The Tornadoes will host Greensboro, 7 p.m. on Tuesday at the Bosch. That's actually the women's basketball game. Let's touch on that first. Women's basketball versus Greensboro, 7 o'clock Wednesday, the 15th at the Bosch. That's the regular season finale for the women's game. So make sure you mark your calendar there. And then the men's team will be in action, 3 home games in 6 days this week, beginning with Greensboro, 7 p.m. Tuesday at the Bosch, Saturday, 2 p.m. versus Methodist at the Bosch, and then Senior Day on Sunday, 2 o'clock versus NC Wesleyan. So opportunities to cheer on the Tornadoes men's and women's basketball team. Best of luck to the baseball team that opens its season this weekend as well. And lots more coming in these next couple months with spring sports getting going here at Brevard College. Well, thank you, NATO Nation, for tuning in once again. Be sure to follow the Tornadoes on social media, and we'll catch you hopefully at an upcoming home game. If not, we'll see you on the YouTube broadcast. For all of us behind the scenes as well, Roya Tomasabi, Emily Denega, and Cassidy Hutto, appreciate their help. And thank you once again, NATO Nation, for joining us for another edition of Tornado Talk. Go Tornadoes.